What's up, guys? Just a little video about those. This is for people that take those pressed fentanyl pills, that are mixed with like PCP, Suboxone, well, Buprenorphine, oxycodone, and fentanyl all in one pill. Like, this stuff is really, really, really bad. Only thing is it screws up your brain chemistry worse than like regular oxycodone or probably heroin. I've never done actual heroin before, but I would assume it was similar to the fentanyl, but different. Seriously though, it screws up your brain chemistry, and coming off of them is more complicated than like other types of opiates. So something I noticed when I was using and coming off, um, at a point, I remember my brain chemistry was screwed up. The Suboxone was that I was trying to take here and then wasn't really doing the trick exactly. It did level me out a bit, but I still felt like major depression, and you know what I mean, like to an extent that was like too much. So I, I figured like I'm kind of like a mad scientist in a way. I decided, let me try and take regular oxycodone to come off for the rest. You know what I mean? Maybe for like a few days or so. And I, at a point I did, and just so I could balance out my chemistry. I didn't get high or anything. Nothing compares to the fentanyl. I'll tell you, I'll be honest. Nothing compares to the fentanyl high. Nothing. But what I noticed is, sorry, I got a lot of allergies. What I noticed is when you take a regular oxycodone pill, which was created by, scientists in the labs for the pharmacy, et cetera, safely made, whatever, it actually helped my brain chemistry settle down. Like, instead of feeling completely out of whack, it stabilized me. I didn't withdraw from it because I didn't use that much of it. But it was just, to come off the hard days. And in my opinion, it straightened out my brain chemistry on the way out. And it wasn't so bad. And the cravings were minimal because I knew it wasn't getting me high. It was just leveling out my brain chemistry. I wasn't I wasn't taking loads of it. But like even 30 milligrams is nothing compared to the fentanyl. So if you take like 130 milligram, you know what I mean? You'll start to feel more normal in the head. You won't feel any of the body problems, but like in the head, you'll feel more normal. You won't feel so anxious. You sleep. But then like what I did was I weaned off of that. You know what I mean? Just broke 30 into 4 pieces. That's it. And it leveled out my brain chemistry. I'm gonna come down like same way Suboxone would or Kratom would for most people. It worked for me. I mean, I felt like I had some unfinished business up there, and like my head, my chemistry was way off. So I gave myself plain opioids, just oxycodone, and it helped my come down chemistry. Like the chemical come down was just not so intense. Like that's what I like. It wasn't so intense. Didn't feel so, you know what I mean, like crazy. Like I wasn't craving like crazy. It helped a lot. So I'm not saying, people go do this, but it's just something that I've done for myself and it worked. So my eyes are lighting up. Um, it helped. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying this is intended for medical purposes at all. But it helped my brain level out on the way out because the pressed pills are packed with chemicals. You know what I mean? Packed with chemicals. Like you can't keep taking those. It's gonna screw your head up. Like you're never gonna feel happiness again. You know what I mean? Like it feels like that. That's how I felt. But yeah, that's what I did for the come down at a point, and it really helped. And like I can't lie, like it straightened out my brain chemistry in terms of my emotions, and emotions lead to everything else. You know what I mean? What you do with your emotional state can determine your future. So if you direct good emotions or bad emotions. But it helped. You know what I mean? Like it helped a lot, and I felt like it just stabilized me up there because I wasn't using some crazy pressed pill that was made in a basement. Who knows what chemicals are in there screwing your head up? The difference between that pill and regular oxycodone is such a difference. Like you feel good, great, but you also feel worse faster on the pressed pills. I know some of you guys out there are probably taking them and probably are like, yeah, you snort them, whatever, and You feel the chills slightly soon after. You feel that's because there's Suboxone in them. I mean, not Suboxone. There's buprenorphine in them. Like, what do you think? It's going in there and it's replacing the fentanyl at the same time. The fentanyl's going in, so it's like you use the first time, you get a dose of fentanyl. That's how it went with me. And then the second time, it would be a dose of more buprenorphine because I'd feel more withdrawal from that pill. Then the next one would feel like fentanyl again. So you're screwing yourself up. The withdrawal might not last that long if they do have buprenorphine in them because it's constantly taking it out at the same time you're putting it in. Um, but those pressed pills are dangerous, and I'm telling you, like they take over people's lives like before you know it. Like you won't even realize it when it happens. So yeah, I'm saying those people that the emotional come down off those things is a mess. Like you don't sleep, you just immediately get the chills, cold, like your body's like going insane for it because you're constantly craving it chemically because of the buprenorphine in them. That's why you keep going back. It's not just because fentanyl alone. It's not. There's counteraction going on up there. So, some of them taste like hard, skunky taste, like a hard, nasty, and then some of them taste lighter. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what's in them. My point. So we do know the basis of what's in them, and scientists have tested it. And I've had people tell me straight up that they've gotten drug tests and tested positive for these drugs that they never thought they never took, but it was really just in those pressed pills. So you guys out there that are ingesting these things, those Jawns they feel great, but I'm telling you right now, as long as you can go 24 hours without one, I notice your brain will actually level out. Like you won't feel so depressed. You know what I mean? Like craving more, like you do with the little Blue M30s. Like those are the ones I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like you crave them so quickly. But if you can go, use kratom. Like even if you're still high on the shit, just use kratom. It'll cover it. So even when you're in withdrawal, wait like 4 hours after your last use, and then use kratom, and it'll cover you the rest of the day. And then from then on. But I'm just saying, if you let that 24 hours go by, you will feel a difference. Like you'll be like, I really, like I want to get clean. Like me, like it might be the buprenorphine. You know what I mean? I'm not sure, but making me feel more like I don't want this anymore. Like I want to get better. It's like my brain chemistry was on fire, telling me this and telling me that. So it's confusing. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what's going on up there. You have no idea, and your brain chemistry is really getting screwed up. And if you're never gonna be able to feel happy again, could you imagine being that fucking miserable? Never being able to feel happy. You cannot do anything. Being alone doesn't help. Being with people doesn't help. The only thing your brain tells you is dead. And that's the scary part. So if you don't want to get to that level, I really suggest you guys just like maybe try weaning off of them. Like minimizing your use, smaller and smaller amounts over a couple weeks, whatever. But I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, or you can cold turkey, you know what I mean? Whatever works. But like I said, the withdrawal from these is something different. It's not like other pills. It's not like regular pharmaceutical pills or other drugs. It's something different about them. People love them and people hate them. Tell yourself straight up, you hate them. They're great, but they suck you dry. I mean, people charge 40, 35, whatever for them. It's just, you're draining your pockets, you're draining your emotions, you're draining everything that makes you you. It's like going into that pill. So, my advice, be smart on how you come off of them because it really screws up your head. And what worked for me worked for me. I haven't touched it since, but I'm letting you know I was deep in it. I felt like I couldn't go 20 minutes without a hit. Like, it got that bad. I isolated myself here and just, it was horrible. But you know what? You guys really got to understand what's going on up there in your head, and you got to treat it that way because you're believing everything your brain's telling you, the chemistry, the bad chemistry's telling you. That's the problem, is you're believing it, and that's the first step to overcoming the shit. You have to not believe it anymore, and you have to really be self-confident in your ability to heal and remember who you really are. Like that you always try to remember from when you were a child. That's the you that's going to get you out of this shit. I'm just letting you know, it's going to get you out of this crap. And You got to do it. You got to come off of them. Those blue Jawns, you got to come off those blue M30s, or if they're K9s or A215s, whatever. You know, some of these pharmacies don't make them anymore, like, or don't distribute them anymore. Factories don't make them anymore. But I'm telling you guys, it's bad for your head and emotionally. When you're in the trap, like in the grasp of it, you feel like you'll never get out of it. But once that 24-hour mark goes by, you start to lose that. You'll still feel like shit. You still feel depressed. You'll still feel all that, but you won't feel like you need it. You'll be like, you know what, like I just want to quit. Then you look for something to help you feel better. And that's why I mentioned the oxycodone, because it levels out your brain chemistry. Like, it levels it out. It's a simple opioid. That's it. You know what I mean? You were taking like 3, 4 chemicals, maybe more at once. You don't know, your head couldn't even control that. So it helped me get off, you know what I mean, at a point where I felt like the PAWS was destroying me. You know, I didn't keep using, I didn't keep craving it either, because nothing felt like the fentanyl. And you guys know what I'm talking about when I say nothing felt like the fentanyl. Nothing. So, my advice, yeah, be smart on how you wean off of those, because those things are dangerous. I call them moxies. You guys will figure out why. But if you want to smoke weed, smoke some weed. But, you know what I mean? The opioids is forced dopamine. Forced, and you cannot force your brain to do anything it doesn't want to do or that you don't want it to do. So, my advice, be smart on the come down. Kratom's good. But the way I did it was just the way I did it. So, it's only my advice to people. If you have any questions, or if you want to say stuff about those and express yourself underneath, go ahead. Tell me whatever. Ask me questions. I'll answer whatever. I have a really, really close relationship with these things, unfortunately. So, have a good one, guys.